guys, welcome to the first official episode of our podcast. We are the K-pop Bible. I'm your host, Cece,
I'm Lee.
and we're really excited to officially debut our podcast. We've both been working hard behind the scenes to put this together, and I know a lot of you guys miss us and our YouTube channel because we're not usually able to update as much, but we hope that with our podcast, we'll be able to put out things a lot more faster and also give our unfiltered opinion.
And again, quick disclaimer, our opinions are not meant to be mean or offend anyone. It's just our honest and unfiltered thoughts.
So, for the first episode, we have a couple of surprises for you guys. We're first going to start off with new releases.
BLACKPINK in your area.
And as we all know, BLACKPINK finally released their full-length album. And we're going to talk about their title track, Lovesick Girls. So, Lee, what was your honest opinion when you heard the song?
I love 21's new song. I thought it was fabulous. I thought it was well produced. I wasn't here for the English raps, but besides that, I love 21. I think it was a great song.
I definitely caught the shade there because we're talking about BLACKPINK, but I kind of share the similar opinion that I also felt that this was the 21 sound. And I honestly was disappointed because I thought that with this album, BLACKPINK was going to finally define what BLACKPINK is and what their sound is. And I think since the beginning of their formation, they've kind of taken the 21 formula and the 21 sound to garner a lot of attention around the group. But a lot of fans waited so long for this album. And when I saw that it only had 8 tracks, I was like, wait, hold on. I thought this was a full length album. And usually for their mini albums, it has 4 tracks. So you would expect that for a full length album, it would at least have 10 to 12 songs.
But I think at this point, I think the Blackpink sound is a 21 sound. It has been a running joke since they've, debuted that most of their songs are 21 reject tracks. And this song just kind of proved it. I think, to us to wait for like a billion years for them to debut with an album and we get this, I was very disappointed.
And there was also a little bit of controversy surrounding this release. For those of you who watched the music video for Lovesick Girls, there was a scene in which Jennie was rapping and she was dressed as a nurse. And so the day after, it sparked this whole campaign on Twitter where Korean nurses were asking YG to take down the scene from the music video because they felt like that scene in particular was sexualizing nurses. If you watch the scene, you could see that she wasn't like sexualizing that outfit. Yeah, she had on like long nails and she wore heels and the outfit was pretty tight on her, but at the end of the day, that's like the least sexual nurse outfit that I have seen in a K-pop video.
This isn't the first time Blackpink has gotten into trouble for something like this. Remember the How You Like It That video, they offended Hindus. And the controversy was good for the song. People started talking about the video more, so.
YG responded and they said that they apologized, that wasn't their intention, and they completely removed that scene from the music video. So the next release we're going to talk about is Dawn's DAWNDIDIDAWN.
I didn't know Edom was like G-Dragon's illegitimate love child. Because I feel like that video was giving nothing but G-Dragon tribute acts.
And this is something that Lee and I were talking about before, where it's like Dawn needs to start separating his music away from his relationship because God forbid, what's going to happen when he and Hyuna break up?
Obviously, we're not saying he has to prove anything in terms of talent. He's a very talented young man. However, I just feel like we don't know who he is as an artist. And his first track was G-Dragon S. His second track is G-Dragon. All he is just this generation's version of G-Dragon.
And there's nothing wrong with that because new artists that come out, usually what the industry does is they give them the label the next blank. So I definitely see that happening in K-pop as well, where a lot of people in the industry are, saying that some of these upcoming new acts are reminiscent of already established musicians and artists in K-pop. So I don't think that's like any disrespect or anything like that because there's nothing wrong with the G Dragon aesthetic or the G Dragon blueprint. I think G Dragon has been one of those artists in K-pop who not only like revolutionized the genre, but in itself, he's also had an effect towards bringing K-pop towards the West. And so if the comparisons keep coming up, I think the perfect way to capitalize off of that is to just make a song together. So the next release we're going to talk about is Meki's Cool.
So we love Meki in these streets. I actually really love the song. It was something so different. Like usually they do a lot of young, fresh girl crush as concepts, but this was definitely a lot more mature. Like a lot of girl groups have just been maturing lately, and this group especially, it looks fab on them.
I think they have a good rap line.
Yeah, they do have a very good rap line.
I don't want to be like that typical fan that says that girl groups don't have a great rap line, but it's kind of like surprising for a group like them because technically they are still a new group.
Fun fact, one of the rappers in their group also was on Produce and made it into the group.
Oh, really? See, I didn't know that. So was this group made of like the show like rejects or
This is one of the groups that after IOI broke up, a lot of the girls went back to, of course, their own company. And so the companies decided to capitalize. And a lot of the girls debuted in their own groups.
hold on, let me say my comment. Let me say my shady comment.
No, girl, give me a second. I gotta get a cocktail for this. I need to drink.
So Johnny is the Kai of NCT.
This is him.
Girl, there is a lot to dissect. We just finished watching the music video.
Yeah, bitch. Are they promoting this track?
I don't think this is even a single. I think this is just like a teaser. Basically, they're going to work on an album with all of the NCT members.
All of them?
All of them. That's the gag.
I'm looking up NTC profiles. Let's see how many members are officially in NTC. NTC has 23 members.
No, there's more than that.
According to kpopprofiles.com, NTC, an acronym for Neo Culture Technology, is a new boy group concept describing having an unlimited number of members.
Honest reaction to that track, I think it was okay. I think out of all the songs that were released, my favorite is Lovesick Girls. And then that would be number 1. Number 2 is DAWNDIDIDAWN. 3 is this song. And number 4 is Meki. What is your ranking?
I love Meki. I thought that was a great song. I love Meki. Dawn. Then it's Lovesick Girls. Well, Lovesick Girls is last, period.
So our next segment is current events, and we couldn't go without mentioning this breaking news. Trot-singer Kwon Do Woon comes out as gay. So he came out during the celebration of his 10th year anniversary as a musician, and he wrote a letter to his fans, and in the letter he came out, and this is an excerpt from the letter.
I'm coming out as the first gay trot singer. I want to speak out for the human rights of sexual minorities and play a role in opening the horizon for others to come out in entertainment. Legend! For my research, trot is like the country music of Korea. It's a little bit more traditional, a little bit older, a little bit Western-fied Korean music. And I think it's great that someone that comes from a really conservative genre is choosing to come out and live his truth. And I think that that's really great that he is saying that he's doing this not just for himself, but for other people in the Korean entertainment industry to come out and live their best authentic lives. I think that's great.
Yeah, so when this came out, the headlines was the first openly gay Korean artist.
Keyword artist.
And so there was a little bit controversy behind that because a lot of Holland supporters felt some type of way about that because Holland technically is the first Korean idol to come out as gay.
Holland would technically be the first, like,
K-pop star
to come out, but I think, like, again, do we consider Holland, like, an artist? Like, does he have, like, albums, singles, awards?
Another point that we want to make about this is we did want to talk about Holland a little bit in terms of, I wanted to pose a question to Lee and the audience who's listening to us. As a queer person, as a gay person, as a person that falls within the LGBT plus spectrum, do you think people are being a little too hard on Holland when they critique his music and say that the only reason that he has a career is because he used his sexuality to gain support around it? And do you think that people would criticize his talent if he were a straight cis man?
I think I'm hard on Holland, like how people are hard on Momo for apparently being a horrible singer. I think I'm just as hard as Holland when how people were hard on Jenny for being a lazy performer. I think I'm just calling it how I see it. Keyword I. And I think the problem is like, as a minority, you have to be good, if not better, than your counterparts. Like, look at Beyonce, for example. Like, Beyonce said it herself. When she came into the music industry as a Black woman, she needed to be better than her counterparts to get the same places. And that's how it's always been. I'm not saying it's right, but that's how it's always been. And for me, as a queer person, what's frustrating with Holland is, yes, you use your sexuality and you being a gay person. I celebrate Holland as a person. I think Holland living his best life as a gay man out in the open is fabulous. Work, sis. But then when you want me to give my opinion of you as an artist and as the product you put out, that's a different, more critical lens. And I think, like I said with Holland, we haven't seen him perform live, so we don't even know if he's a good dancer, if he can perform. All we know about Holland is that he's gay and attractive. And he puts out cute music, but, like, that's more of his producers than him. Being pretty is not a talent.
That's part of the reason why it's hard for me to support Holland. Like, yeah, it's great to have someone who is openly gay and is a K-pop idol. But at the same time, for me, like, I don't just support someone because they're gay. You know, like, that's an added bonus because I feel like, yeah, it's nice to have that and it's nice to normalize that and, you know, make it so that other people are comfortable with being themselves. But to me, sexuality doesn't really have anything to do with talent. It's same thing for American music. Like, there's a couple of gay musicians that I don't really listen to because it's not the type of music that I like to listen to. You know, like, for example,
Like Adam Lambert.
I like Adam. I think he's an amazing,
He's an amazing singer, but it's just not my type of music.
Yeah, I don't listen to Adam Lambert on the daily. I do listen to Haley Kiyoko, but not like all the time.
I like Lady Gaga, but I didn't like Chromatica.
No, but I'm saying, like, these are examples of, like, talented people. I'm trying to think of, like...
Oh, damn it. I'm sorry. Well, girl, if they're gay and not talented, clearly we don't hear from them.
Right.
I wonder why. And the thing is, if you're a solo artist...
You have to have it all.
You have to be well-rounded as, like, sorry, Chunga ruined it for all y'all. Chunga did, because Chunga be dancing and busting out vocals in her sleep. Ailey, she's not as relevant as she used to be. Ailey's talented. I think when you're a solo artist and not in a group, there has to be a level you have to do, and he just doesn't do it all.
Holland, sweetie, if you're listening to this podcast, we do support you as a human.
But maybe you should, I don't know, act. Like, do a drama. Like, if there's ever, like, a gay drama, Holland should do it. But just take a class.
And there's always room for improvement. So, honey, that doesn't mean you're... Just because we say right now we're not living for your music, that doesn't mean we're not going to live for it later if it becomes better.
Whores in this house, there's some whores in this house, there's some whores in this house, there's some whores.
So now we're going to do a segment that is exclusive to the K-pop Bible. So I'm going to let Lee present this segment.
I was scrolling through Twitter one day and I saw that people were doing this challenge where they were creating a company, and in that company they were creating their own dream group. And so me being bored one day decided that I wanted to give a try. You know, I've always said I had a great eye for talent. So should I go into detail about my company and who my girls are?
So the segment is going to be called Dream Idol Group. So Lee is going to create his own group and I'm going to create my own group. And basically, the idea is to put together a group and manage their first debut using rookies, ex-idols, and underrated performers. So for the first episode, Lee is going to create his dream idol girl group. So what is the name of your company?
So the name of my company is Dollhouse Entertainment. And with my company, I really wanted to show that you don't have to compromise when it comes to visuals versus talent. You know, I really want a company that is pretty much could do it all.
What is the name of your girl group?
It is Porcelain.
And can you reveal who the members are?
I might be butchering names. So the first member is Jinwoo. She is from the group OT9. They're known for songs such as Fun and Love Bomb and Feel Good. And she's the first member. She's going to be the main vocalist. I really love her husky voice. She has a really wide range. And I think, you know, a lot of us also know her from 16, the JYP show that birthed twice. And she was also in Idol School. So she's going to be the first member.
Who's the second member?
Inwoo, she is from the first season of Produce 101. She came from Pledis. She also was one of the three main vocalists from Pristine. May she rest in peace. And I love her voice. She kind of reminds me of Jessica, where she has, her voice is very like angelic and like quirky. Well, angelic and unique, but still has like power to it. I like the differences between the tones of her and the first main vocalist. So she's my second member. She's main vocalist and lead dancer.
Third member is?
The third member is from Cherry Bullet. Her name is spelled Haeyeon. She was also on the third season of Produce. She's going to be lead vocalist and leader. She's really like an amazing singer. And so I wanted to include her.
What is your next member?
The next member is Miyu. She is from also Produce. She's also going to debut in a new girl group coming up from Mystic Entertainment. She is famously from the Japanese group that was in conjunction with Produce the third season. And she is lead dancer, lead vocalist, and composer.
Ooh, so your girls have a say in the music.
You know, we're all about talents. Fifth member is Nayoung. She is also from Pristine. She was the main rapper. She was also in IOI. And she's going to be, of course, this group, main dancer and main rapper. The sixth member, I'm not going to pronounce her name, Sian. She is lead dancer, vocalist, visual center. She was featured in Idol School, and she was also featured in Produce 101. And she hasn't debuted. She's still a trainee, but she is coming soon. Final member is Chaeyoung. She is also from OT9, and she is going to be the lead rapper and a lead dancer.
So how many members in total?
Seven girls.
Why did you decide to do a 7-member girl group?
I personally think in terms of formation, I think uneven number groups are better. I hate when it's an even number and one girl has to get behind another girl for the formation to be right. So I rather just have like an uneven girl group number. And I think 7 is a perfect number. Anything that's 8 and above, like I think when there's so many members, people don't tend to like care about getting the member's name right and all that stuff.
So, what is the concept for your girl group?
I was really inspired by primarily A-Pink, especially the Dum 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 era, and iZone for Fiesta, and The Secret of the Swan. I actually really like girl group concepts that are more elegant and chic. You know, it's such a great blend of girl crush and sort of the cute concept. I like the idea of like just being really coordinated, but like also still maintaining like individuality.
So, that is officially the lineup for Lee's dream girl group named Porcelain. Next week, Lee will come back and talk about what it will take for their debut. So, he's going to break down the schedule from pre debut all the way to debut.
So welcome to our new segment. It's called K-Pop Master Theater, where we will read excerpts from the newly best-selling book, Shine, by Mrs. Jessica Jung, formerly a Jessica of Girls' Generation.
So this is from the first chapter, page 5, if you guys want to follow along with us. My hands clench as I feel my body temperature skyrocket. Lizzie wasn't wrong. I'm not like the other trainees who are here 24/7 singing and dancing in practice rooms until 4 a.m., sleeping at nearby trainee houses, and waking up and doing it all over again, every single day. Back when I first got recruited to DB, my mom almost didn't let me come. It meant uprooting my family from New York City to Seoul, my sister giving up her school and her friends, both of my parents giving up their jobs. But more than that, she couldn't understand why K-pop meant so much to me, and she definitely didn't understand the trainee lifestyle. The intense pressure, the years of training, the plastic surgery scandals. Then about 3 weeks into begging my mom to change her mind, my hall money died. I remember how sad I felt, how I cried with my mom and Leah for hours, how when she was alive, hall money would sit me down every morning during our visits and braid my hair, whispering old folk tales into my ear, telling me in her soothing voice how I would grow up to be beautiful, wise, and very wealthy. My mom wouldn't let us miss school for the funeral, and when she got back from Korea, I had to practically decide to let go of the whole trainee thing. But to my surprise, Amma made a deal. We would move to Seoul and I would go to school during the week, get an education, keep my prospects for college open, and every weekend, starting Friday night, I would train.
So how do we feel about the first chapter?
So after reading the first chapter, I definitely got the feeling that there was a bit of tension between Rachel, the main character, and the other members of the girl group. And we obviously know Rachel is Jessica, and the other girls are the rest of the Girls' Generation members.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in the beginning when she was talking about releasing this book, it first was rumored that it was going to be an autobiography, and then all of a sudden it changed into a fictional story. And I definitely think that she used things that happened to her in real life and her experience as an actual K-pop idol to write this story. So reading this first chapter, to me, what I got from it is that her relationship with the rest of the Girls' Generation members wasn't that great as it appeared to be. I definitely got the sense that the other members were trying to kind of bully her because she was Korean American.
Isn't Tiffany also Korean American?
Obviously, this isn't a true biography. This is fictionalized. So I think maybe that's why they didn't mention that there's another Korean American in the group.
And I totally see where Jessica's situation had a lot more of a comfortable situation. A lot of the trainees didn't have their families. they didn't have many prospects outside of training. And here you have a girl who literally has the luxury of going home every day, getting a cooked meal, seeing her family, resting, living a normal life. And she's on track to debut while you're here in a training room for hours on end. You don't have time to do anything else. Like, the resentment was there from the start. But I think when you're just that girl and you don't have to try as hard, which apparently Jessica was, or Rachel is, you know, you don't have to work as hard as other people.
So do you think that there is some validation towards the title that she gets, you know, when people call her a spoiled princess?
Yes and no. I think, like I said, Jessica and Rachel both seem like they're just very well taken care of people. And I think when you're just very well taken care of, it's kind of like almost Grace Kelly in a way, the famous actress. You know, she came from like a well-to-do background. So for her, when she was coming up in her career, she didn't have to go through the same amount of plights or struggles as her peers, is because she was allowed to be like, you know what, if this doesn't work out for me, I can just go back to my normal life. If she doesn't become an idol, it's clear that her life was going to be fine either way. And I think like that's why for her, that burning need to go like out 110% wasn't there.
As I was reading this chapter, there were some names that came up. So obviously Rachel is Jessica.
I don't know. I think the name Rachel doesn't even fit Jessica's
Exactly.
personality.
Yeah.
I think Jessica would have picked something like
more graceful.
like Victoria or something really pretty and flowery.
Jocelyn.
Not Jocelyn, but like
Jacqueline.
Kathy or something like that. Like she seemed like she would pick very like cute flower, like Ellen, something like that. Bitch, not Rachel.
Yeah. Leah is obviously her sister Crystal.
That name's very fitting to Crystal's personality.
The only member that we're still not sure who it is, it's Mina. Which SNSD member do you think she took inspiration to write Mina?
What is Mina's like personality traits?
Well, she was like Rachel's main like bully.
Okay, so we can't say Taeyong because Taeyong came towards the end of the group's formation, so she's out.
So according to context clues, Mina is rich. She comes from a family who owns a supermarket chain.
Is she tall?
Said she was a great singer, great dancer.
Like great singer, like gifted with like actual like vocal ability, or she just knew how to sing well? Because I'm thinking like who's her So Young?
She's
Because
rich.
So Young comes from money herself. Who's also really rich. Sunny is very wealthy because she is, I think, SM's niece or has a familiar connection to SM. But Sunny and Jessica were like really close during the group run, so I don't know if it's that. But like you said, great singer, so I'm just like So Young is like she's a dancer.
Well, maybe like I said, she has to fictionalize some aspects.
She gives me bully.
I actually DM'd one of my friends who's a huge Sohn, and I was like, who do you think Mina is? And she was like, I don't think it's based on like an actual SNSD member, but if we were to go by the characteristics, then it would fit Soo Young.
Period.
For those of you who haven't gotten the book yet, make sure to get it so that we can read the next chapter together.
Chapter 2, be ready, and there will be a pop quiz.
So in this segment, we're going to take a look back at some of the juiciest K-pop scandals. And since we are reviewing Jessica Jung's book, I think it's only fair that we talk about the whole scandal surrounding her departure from Girls' Generation.
For those of you that don't know, Girls' Generation is a South Korean girl group founded by SM Entertainment.
They're also known as SNSD.
Some of their hits include G, Into the New World, Genie, Run Devil Run, Mr. Mister, I Got a Boy, Mr. Taxi, and The Boys. It was 2014, and this is after the Mr. Mister comeback, and they were gearing up to do their Tokyo Dome tour because, you know, they're international. And fans were shocked at Jessica had announced that she was kicked out of the group she was forced out, and how she will not be no longer a member of Girls' Generation, how she will be leaving SM, and how she feels so hurt and betrayed.
Stop. Let's put it back to 140.
At the time, Girls' Generation was the top girl group. And I think now for new listeners of K-pop, they don't really understand how heartbreaking and impactful this news was, Jessica's departure to the group.
When you look at like the top selling girl groups in history, so it was like kind of like an end of an era when you're like, wait, like, especially I think at that time they were like one of the only SM acts that didn't have members leave.
So it was rumored that there was already tension brewing between the members, and it was all due to Jessica wanting to start her own fashion line. As we all know, that she already has started it.
Mogul.
It's called Blanc and Claire.
Mogul.
But at the time, the girls thought that her starting a fashion line was taking away from her being in the group.
So let's break it down. Why do you think these members would want her out? Because I don't believe the reasoning of, oh, her solo activity is taking away from the group, because they all have solo activities outside of the group.
Yeah, this is now, but I think...
But even then, like, wasn't there like a subunit where Taeyong, Tiffany, and the maknae, I'm sort of drawing, Seohyung? Is it the maknae of Girls' Generation? They were in a really successful subunit at one point. So I don't understand why her solo activities were a problem.
I think from the beginning, she's always been iced out of the group interaction. Like, yeah, we've seen the girls interact as a group and be civil with each other, but I think at the end of the day, there was a lot of tension and there was a lot of jealousy. Like, even thinking about the book, like we talked about the first chapter, right? And in there, like, Jessica makes it known that these girls were hostile against her. So I feel like there's always been this hostility around her.
I think it's from the start when Jessica entered the group and they debuted. Jessica was just a standout because of Jessica's person. Like, she was like the ice princess. Like, she was very like reserved, very pretty. Jessica sort of molded herself in the very like Korean ideal girl. Even though Jessica's Korean American, her voice is very K-pop. She could sing in the upper registries really well versus Tiffany. She had a very American sounding voice, which is funny because a lot of people allegedly thought Tiffany definitely was also a mastermind of the situation, because it's funny, when she was doing the Tokyo Dorm tour, Tiffany got Jessica's lines.
But let's talk about the dedication Zone had, because they knew that they had already filmed a music video with Jessica in it, and a Zone that hacked SM, and they released the music video.
Which was everything. I actually like the verse better with Jessica on it. I'm not gonna lie. But it's always, the ghost of Jessica has always followed the group. I remember when Lionheart came out, people were like, oh, Jessica would totally be amazing on this song, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, they haven't really recovered from it. And it's crazy because she was kicked out of the group, but then she was still signed to SM. And she wanted to do her fashion line. And SM was like, you know, we don't do fashion. We're strictly a music and entertainment company. Fast forward now, Baekhyun came out with his own fashion line.
And again, I think that speaks into the misogyny that exists in the K-pop industry, how men are allowed more creative freedom outside of their career versus a woman. And I think Jessica has been able to have a career outside of Girls' Generation, even though Girls' Generation is such an important part of her and her identity and how she even got into K-pop. But there has to be some kind of closure between them and the fans, because the crazy thing about all of this is that the members acted like nothing happened. Like, Jessica wasn't even a part of the group.
They act like Tiffany was meant to sing the parts.
And I think that's what annoys a lot of fans, because it's like, you can't just pretend like Jessica wasn't a part of Girls' Generation.
And also, I don't understand because, you know, certain members have gone on and left the company, but they still consider Girls' Generation as a group beyond company. But it's crazy when they talk about how Girls' Generation is forever a sisterhood. But why doesn't Jessica get this inclusion into the group? Where I remember Tiffany had a birthday party. And, you know, the main dancer, the one that has that song, Dessert, she has like a TikTok challenge where people will dance to Dessert with her and every other member but Jessica was included. Do you feel like from the jump Jessica looked at Girls' Generation as a business, and so she was like, yeah, I'm gonna be cordial, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna be cute together, but we're not friends? Or do you think it's like they obviously were jealous of Jessica? You know, Jessica has a very wealthy boyfriend that adores her. We see her getting married to him, possibly. She has a very successful business. She still is very booked and busy. So do you think, like, it was the fact that they're just jealous of Jessica?
I think the reason why Jessica hasn't been invited or there hasn't been an olive branch extended is because, again, there's just something that they have to work out. Not Jessica. I think it's the other girls.
I think it's like also, I remember when Sunny had her radio show and Sunny was saying that, you know, I'm sorry for how things worked out. I miss you and I'm always here for you. Do you think it's also on both sides where Jessica's like, I feel betrayed. I'm done with you all. And they're like, well, we never liked you to begin with. And do you think it's just some weird, like...
Of course. Anyone would feel that type of way. If you've trained with these girls, right? And then you've had a career with them for years, and then you've always been the one left out of everything, and you've always been made to feel less than. There's been a lot of microaggressions leading up to kicking her out of the group.
SM, you play God with all of your acts. And you're talking about suddenly, when Girls' Generation was like, I want to kick out Jessica, that's when you were like, do what you want to do. You know, you're an artist. You're free to make... Now you want to let your artists take control of their careers? Lies. Maybe I think if one member reaches out and is just like, hey, like, can we meet? Like Sunny, for example. I feel like if Sunny would, you know, reach out and be like, maybe she's driving around the neighborhood and ends up at Jessica's entertainment company. Maybe Sunny can, you know, just pop in for a visit, have some lunch.
No, I think it would have to be like all of them all in. Like they all have to, it has to be an amicable thing where they all want to work through it and have a conversation.
If one member sort of like works
Starts
it out and mediates the situation, because it's like, really, what does any of the girls have
against her? Like,
I see Tiffany definitely having that resentment of Tiffany feeling, I'm also Korean American, but why is this girl being favored and I'm not? Taeyong, obviously the competition of the both of them being main vocalists, that can be worked out. Soyeon being the alleged bully. Soyeon, you just need to apologize.
So the next segment, I'm really excited in the spirit of Halloween. This segment is called K-pop Horror Stories. Every week, we're going to share a story that we have about a concert experience, an experience with fans, or just something that really scared you. And for this episode, I think Lee wants to share a little story.
Yeah, do you want to set it up?
It was an evening.
Girl,
it was dark and gloomy.
Girl, it was like, girl, I told you in the afternoon. It was light out. My God.
Let me dramatize. I'm going to use what Jessica did with her book to
my
my life. It was this dark and gloomy day. I was just editing a video. All of a sudden, I get a text message from my phone, and I see it's from Lee. And he says,
girl, you can't believe what the fuck just happened.
And so when he says that, that usually means 5 different things. And so I was like, okay, what happened? And he says,
the army tried to get me, girl. They tried to snatch me balls.
And I was like, what happened?
Basically what happened is I was listening to a playlist and Dynamite comes on. And so for me, I'm just like, one stream is not going to hurt them. So I listened to it and I'm looking at the video, and because the beat was actually really nice. I actually really enjoyed the beat and the composition of the song. And so then I realized a lot of people are commenting. And again, I don't have to comment, but you know, I want to. Freedom of will. And so I just commented, I really like the song. I wish the lyrics were better, but overall, great job, BTS. I gave them their kudos. I gave them their flowers. That one stream contributed to them going #1. You're welcome, ARMY. With that comment, I got a bunch of just responses, and I'm thinking like, oh, what's going on? Am I famous? What's happening? And so people are saying, someone called me racist. Someone said I was doing hate speech. Someone's called me a bigot. Someone called me a Trump supporter. Someone said, and I just simply responded, I don't like the lyrics. Their vocals are nice. The composition's great. Whoever produced this, good job. I don't like the lyrics. Sorry. Shining through the city with a little funkin' soul. What? You know, lighting up with dynamite's cute. That was a cute little in the falsetto. You know, y'all did that. And so someone flagged my account and reported me for violating YouTube's, saying I basically was spewing hate speech and harassing BTS. How the fuck did I harass BTS?
So yeah, when he told me that story, I was just laughing because I was like,
taken down. It never. I was like.
But the thing is, like, you couldn't use your account for 24 hours.
And here's the thing: why I was just really irked by it. I find that armies can come from anyone else. I remember when Twice broke the record for having the second most trophies won off of the music show. 109. I'm kind of one, so I know this fun fact. And so they're now second to EXO. Also, he stabbed. So tell me why, when this happened, scrolling through Twitter, I see armies saying Twice isn't talented. Oh, they only do cute concepts and anyone can sing and do cute concepts. They're basic, yada yada yada, all this. Reading Momo can't sing. Reading these heifers for filth. Remember when Monster X did Who Do You Love? Got signed to an American label. The army came back and was like, oh, they're just copying BTS. Oh, they're trying to be like BTS. Oh, how come BTS can't do their own thing without someone copying them? You came, but when someone said, I do not like this one lyric, which I think is an important part of the song.
I mean, I didn't like the song either, so.
You think that my opinion, because armies are so outspoken about what they don't like about other artists, have the audacity to wear army shirts to other artists in concerts.
And bring their light sticks.
Other light sticks. Disrespectful. But when I said I don't like the lyric, mind you, over 50 songwriters fought to write this song?
And this is what you came up with.
Native speakers, you are telling me that Dynamite is going to be, lyrically as it is, Dynamite would be inducted into a Grammy Hall of Fame, Songwriter Hall of Fame. Listen, there's tons of songs that hit #1 that we don't know about anymore.
From one-hit wonder bands.
And so...
It's a par for whoever wrote it, because when I listened to the song as well, I was like, why does it sound like someone from elementary school?
It sounds like a freshman who's studying songwriting in college did this for their midterm project.
Not even a midterm project. It was a homework assignment.
Period. And so for me, the army, you have made us hate BTS. And I feel like that's a lot of things. A lot of people would be like, oh, I want to like BTS, but they're fans. And so for me, I think it's crazy. Like I said, the song was okay. I just don't like the lyrics. Y'all literally tried to get my YouTube channel taken down. Like, was EXO Loves ever that bad when EXO was super, super popular? Because before there was BTS, there was EXO. Or was, like, Big Bang's fans as bad as this? Because I don't remember it ever being, like, that bad.
Well, it wasn't about the competition. Like, I think those fandoms were respectful in an aspect of whenever a news came out that didn't relate to the group, they didn't get into it. Like, it wasn't their business, so they didn't say anything about it. But I feel like armies, like any news story that comes out, they like to tie BTS to it somehow and spin it. And I think that's what's so frustrating for people who are outside the BTS fandom.
Like,
and it's
petty enough. Remember when Big Bang made Forbes 100 highest paid celebrities list?
Yeah.
Tell me why that was on Twitter. I'm petty enough, and I remember this because I was so livid. Tell me why an army member tweeted that same thing. It was like, oh, BTS in a few years.
And we are living in that reality right now.
But it's like, here's the thing, and I will say this, in every K-pop generation, you do have, like, the top, and that's
The
how
top
it
tier-
is.
top tier
Like,
groups.
no tea, no shade. Like, before BTS, it was EXO. EXO was the top group for a long time. Slaying the game.
And before EXO, it was Big Bang.
Big Bang. Before Big Bang, I remember... And Big Bang was in an era where I remember 2PM was really big, Super Junior was still popping, and those three groups were allowed to coexist. You know, right now Twice are the girls up. Before it was Twice, it was Girls' Generation for a good 10 plus years doing their thing. And so for me, it's like, I understand not all of you guys are toxic,
Yeah.
but you let your toxic fan base members run rampant.
Yeah, and ruin it for everyone. I have some friends who are armies, and we've interviewed armies who are incredibly nice,
And
sweet.
if you're an army that we interview, we live for you, we stand you, you were in previous videos, we live. But the thing that's frustrating is, like, your toxic members run rampant and you guys don't even check them. Like, it's like very much like, oh wow.
It's definitely, as a fan of K-pop, it's fun to see how K-pop has been able to expand because of its global appeal. But at the same time, we have to remain humble and remember the people who are part of the reason why K-pop is accepted globally.
So whenever you listen to Dynamite,
Don't forget to stream Girls' Generation G. So that was the end of K-pop horror stories. If you
I hope
have...
NTC comes for them.
If you have a horror story of yourself, make sure to tweet us at K-Pop Bible Online and your story could be featured in the next episode.
Whores in this house, there's some whores in this house, there's some whores in this house.
I guess the hoes have to leave. There was hoes in this house, but now they have to go home. Thank you guys for coming and tuning in. If you want to find us, Cece, where do they find us if they ever need to just join the conversation?
So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at The K-Pop Bible. You can listen to our podcast on anchor.fm, but we're also going to get it up on Spotify, so
Support the girls. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next episode.
bye guys.